Listening to this podcast right now! Do you want to hear a fucking podcast about anything and everything? Yeah. Like movies, music, television, and more?
Oh my God.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Yes.
Subscribe to Journey into Comics Network, and you get Podcastrophe, hosted by me,
Yes.
Dick. Why not throw a couple bucks to the Patreon? It's your choice. Yeah. This is a Podcastrophe.
That sounds so awesome.
The following is a Journey into Comics Network production.
To a nicer guy, it couldn't happen.
I'm the man of the hour, the man with the power.
Diamonds are forever.
He put hard times on Dusty Rhodes and his family.
And what you gonna do, Andre?
History beckons the Macho Man. Yeah.
The best there is, the best there was.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
2 words for ya.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Yes, once again, coming at you with Journey into Wrestling, Season 2, Episode 14. I'm one of your hosts, Brando, and joining me here today on this yes-tacular day is the one and only Podfather, Nate Phillips. Nate, how are you doing today, sir?
Yes. I'm doing great, Brando. It's a great yes day. It's also Rusev Day. It's a day of many things. And last Tuesday, I think, was also 316 Day or something. Or no, that was Friday.
That was Friday, yeah. And you know what? Originally, we were going to record on Friday, and then I was tired, and then Sunday or Saturday, I'm like, hey, man, we're going to record. You're like, I got a headache, man. I got migraine. I'm like, it's cool. Don't worry, man. And then it's like, it was the wrestling god shining down on us that we waited until today, because now we're not a 4-day-old podcast missing one of the biggest news stories going into WrestleMania. This whole thing has now completely shifted and changed, because who knows what's going to happen going in. We can almost sort of speculate exactly the right chess piece where you would put it for this moment in time, for the storyline that's going on. But Nate, Daniel Bryan has been 100% cleared by the WWE Dr. Maroon.
Moron, Dr. Moron?
Dr. Maroon. What a maroon. There is no better name for that doctor. But however, he is officially not a maroon today. In fact, I'm sure he's like some of the fans' greatest, like, oh, he's the best doctor ever. Fuck CM Punk.
Yeah,
as I just chomp
totally
on some more.
changes everything.
I'm doing a show and I'm chomping on jelly beans.
Yeah, it's a cardinal sin of podcasting.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay.
It's Easter season. I'm going on keto soon. I keep him back here to keep him away from Wyatt so he doesn't go, ooh, bean, can I have a bite, daddy bite? No, they're my fucking beans. Get the fuck back. I don't want to. Dude, we taught Wyatt how to do the double slap elbow.
Okay, yeah.
And that's where you put your elbow up and you go.
Yeah.
And he was giving me the double slap elbow like all day one day. It was hilarious. We were just wrestling around. But Nate, Bryan's on the mend. He is back, ready to go. Of course, he's never really left, man. He's kind of been around since his retirement. He was GM, but like he's also been in the ring with, training up Breed for her comeback. He's been around. I guarantee you, as soon as he got this news, now he's like, all right, let's get back in this ring and really do some bumps and really get to work. Because Nate, I just read something about where they're going to put him, and it's so logical that, like, it defies illogic. If that makes any sense, what I'm saying. They're going to plug him into a tag match with Shane against Kev and Sammy.
Well, that totally makes sense. I mean, I will say that it's funny to see this news happen today, because just, I think, 2 days ago, I was reading that Daniel Bryan had turned down a WrestleMania 34 match because he was not a fan of the structure. He didn't think that it was fair to him. It was going to have him taking almost no bumps. Yeah. It was kind of pointless for him to be in there. And he's like, come on, like, what's the fucking point? And then now today it's like, boom, he's cleared right before SmackDown, 2 weeks before the Go Home to Mania.
Apparently he got cleared yesterday, but they waited to make the announcement until today.
That's actually probably a very smart play for WWE. You don't want that to overshadow your Monday Night Raw.
Right, because he's not on Raw. He's not going to be on Raw, and that's going to be the biggest news story. So now you're going to really drive people to go watch SmackDown. Nate, I'm going to go out there and purchase PSV right now just so I can watch the opening segments to see what they're going to do, because, Nate, we might have somebody hurt.
Yeah, and it's interesting because with the news of Daniel Bryan being medically cleared, the news of AJ Styles working on an injury has also kind of come to light. The interesting thing to note here is, I'm going to just be the one to champion it here, maybe they have Daniel Bryan replace AJ if he's legitimately hurt. Who wouldn't want to see that to crown a new WWE champion?
Well, of course, but then there's also, okay, if AJ really can't compete at Mania,
which would be
number
fucking
one,
awful.
Dude, no, that's a fucking travesty. There is no better person to replace him than as a dream match than with Daniel Bryan. Here's your conundrum. You're building up Shinsuke. He's the next big guy. The fans are going to go ape shit over Bryan. And this is going to be his comeback story.
It'll totally overshadow.
Well, and it's like, it's so obvious going into Mania right now. You put over Shinsuke with AJ. It doesn't hurt AJ in the slightest to drop the belt. He's been champion before. He can easily be slotted back in to win the title if needed be, if the Shinsuke run isn't as fruitful as they think it's going to be or want it to be. Very easy to slot him back in. But with Daniel, now, okay, so if AJ's out, I can't work, I'm out, crown a new champion. It makes total sense, and your biggest money move to get hype to put Daniel in that moment, in that match against Shinsuke. And of course, your track to forward is like, well, it's Shinsuke. But now your story has changed.
Oh, totally.
And it reminds me of when he came back. It's like, I'm in the Rumble, and then like they just toss him out in 10 minutes. It deflates it. The fans hate that. It gets to a point where you almost have to put over Daniel now, and he needs to get that spot because the fans are going to be so hyped for it. And then, in this podcaster's honest opinion, no other moment, all due respect to everybody on that card, no other moment's bigger than that. That is the biggest send-off comeback story that this company has had in years. And if you put Roman or even Cena Taker after that, like, and I know a lot of people are like, dude, Cena Taker's got to be last because who can top Taker? I'm not saying Daniel can top Taker as far as the talent. What I'm saying is as far as sheer fan enthusiasm. If you have that early on, it's going to deflate the crowd for later. So it's got to be last. And then I'm getting excited for something that may not even happen. If you have Shinsuke and Bryan, logic says it's got to be Bryan. But then you have two guys, and the fans really don't know which way it's going to go.
Exactly.
It's like they've been building Shinsuke, but here's Bryan. Either way, we're getting an awesome fucking match. And Shinsuke actually just tweeted about it. So did Bryan. Daniel Bryan tweets, saying goodbye to the ring was one of the hardest moments of my life. But thanks to the amazing people supporting me, I was able to keep fighting for my dream. This moment feels surreal, and I'm glad to be able to talk to you all at the beginning of SmackDown Live tonight. The Miz tweeted a video of him doing a golf clap. Said, "Oh, look, at WWE, Daniel Bryan is cleared. Yay."
Uh-oh.
True heel. I love The Miz. He has got to be overjoyed for Daniel at this moment, for him to be able to get back in there. And then another tweet from Shinsuke Nakamura himself. "This is great news. No one needs to wish anymore. They can see it with their eyes. Hashtag Nakamura versus Bryan."
Holy shit.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I'm so hopeful, crossing my fucking fingers, that AJ can go, because I want Nakamura to win. And I wanted to hold it to SummerSlam at least and build up SummerSlam to be a big event like they've been trying to do.
Yeah.
Bryan Nakamura at SummerSlam.
Oh, first of 3 maybe?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe
do a SummerSlam Survivor Series Rumble payoff match at Rumble.
If you can get it to go that long. The thing is that I've definitely heard that Daniel's schedule is going to be limited at first because they want him to ease back into this. They're not going to push him to the balls of the wall. And honestly, like for me, I kind of want to see his schedule be limited down anyway because I don't want to risk him getting hurt again. Because if he gets hurt again, he's done. He's like, yeah, never. You know, at least this way.
Again.
What I'm hoping is that, and it's going to be hard to talk Bryan into this, scale it back just a tad and work on storytelling even more, because he can do storytelling tremendously. He's such a talent.
Absolutely.
But if you're going to look him in the eye and you're going to tell him, hey, we want you to slow down, he's going to look at you and go, no. I am Daniel Bryan. I am Bryan Danielson. I am the American Dragon. I'm going to wrestle my style. Maybe I'll cut out the headbutts. But,
actually, I read that he has significantly altered how he is going to perform in the ring. Not to say that it's like his whole style's changing, but he is going to be mindful of all those things. So
I hope so, because I want him to see him go for a couple more years and let him go out the way that he wants to go out, because he didn't get that chance. He was about to be, he had that decided for him.
How about this dream matchup, Brando? Balor, Bryan.
Absolutely. And I mean, come on, Styles in Bryan. I mean, Rude in Bryan. There's so many dudes. Samoa Joe, don't hurt him, please, versus Bryan.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, I love Joe, but man, Joe gets in there. Sometimes he's just, he's a wrecking machine. And I'm not saying he goes out there and hurts people, because he doesn't, but he's a rougher, he's definitely a rougher, tumbler guy. And so definitely try to take care. But that would be an amazing match. The thing is that I just saw somebody posted on WWE memes on Facebook, and it's from Billy Madison, and he caught the dodgeball, and it's Bryan. It says, "Now you're all in big trouble."
Yeah.
This is great news. This is here you go. This is somebody posted dream matches for Daniel Bryan. We were just talking about this. Daniel Bryan versus Jinder. Bryan versus Jinder Mahal. Bryan versus Mahal Jinder. Bryan versus the Maharaja. Bryan versus the Beastmaster. Bryan versus the uncrowned champion, or the uncrowned United States champion. Bryan versus the man who's beaten Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura 8,274 times within the last year.
Somebody's over for Jinder. Jesus.
I know. It's great, though, man. Such a great, positive fan reaction going over for this.
I tell you, I know somebody who's not going to be so excited this announcement got made today. Big Cass. He also made his announcement that he was returning to action, and it kind of got overshadowed.
Oh yeah, poor timing on the caster there, because nobody gives a shit about Big Cass when it comes to the Big Bryan.
Yeah, no. Daniel Bryan returning to wrestling is amazing. And I think that it could, interestingly enough, I think that the thing you need to do is maybe keep him GM through the shakeup, and at shakeup, have him get drafted to Raw.
Oh.
Boom. But right out the gate and totally fuck everything up. You know what I'm saying?
But then, what do you do? Because it's obvious, with as over as Bryan still is, he's got to be a top guy no matter where he is, and he's going to be more of a top guy in SmackDown. Especially if you want to keep Roman on Raw. So
maybe they can tease that he's getting drafted to Raw, and he can use his veto power as GM to be like, "No, I'm not. I'm standing right here on SmackDown Live. We're sending Shane to Raw," and then everyone's like, "What the fuck?"
Man, this is exactly his dream. This is what he wants. The belief now has got to be that he's not going to leave when his contract's up in September. There was a belief that he was going to leave and go wrestle New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling maybe. Who knows? And maybe even after the All-In event in September, maybe they'd have another one somewhere and he would main event over there with those guys. Because, if you don't sell out 10,000 tickets with what they've got and with what they're going to be announcing, adding Daniel Bryan to that show would be a no-brainer, to get more people from the area to come in. So,
I absolutely agree with you. I think that I'm excited to see where tonight goes for SmackDown. Of course, people listening to Journey into Wrestling right now, it's already happened. It was last night. Go check out what happened on SmackDown. But it hasn't happened yet for us here Tuesday at 5 p.m. So, Brando, I don't know really where we want to kind of go from here. There was some stuff that happened on Raw last night that's important to talk about. We had a really interesting segment with Roman. Did you see that?
From this past Monday?
Yeah, just from last night.
No. Again, I don't yet have a capability to watch cable. So,
well, I guess I'm going to have to fill you in a little bit then, eh?
Well, yeah, because here's the thing is that I don't get a chance. I'm getting PS Vue tonight, so I will be able to watch it live going forward. But, like, I went to bed last night at 9. I had a heck of a Sunday night, Monday morning with my son getting sick for the first time. Like, as in, like, blowing chunkos sick for the first time.
Yeah.
Didn't get to sleep until like 4 a.m. and woke up around 10. So, like, last night we were like, yeah, let's eat some dinner and watch The Walking Dead. And it's like 15 till 9. And I'm like, I'm not eating. I'm going to bed. Good night.
Sleepville, USA.
The only thing that I did see,
okay,
I saw a clip from Ultimate Deletion, but we'll get to that later.
Sure. So, and actually, that is something I want to talk about too, because that was cut from the Hulu version.
What?
Not on the Hulu version.
Get the hell out. What?
I watched it this morning. It wasn't there. I actually knew they were doing stuff for Ultimate Deletion and had to search to find parts of it. I still haven't seen the whole thing because there were only clips on WWE.com. So I have not actually seen all of Ultimate Deletion. Maybe that's because of how Matt's intellectual property is with it being his creation or whatever. I'm not really sure.
That's probably just them being stupid as far as what gets cut. I'm not even sure if it's their say what gets cut out of Hulu. Maybe Hulu edits it. Maybe they actually edited it for Hulu. Who knows? But I saw the little teaser of Brother Nero.
Yeah, he returned.
But
yeah, so
he didn't officially return. He was there in like a little thing like to psych out Bray Wyatt, because they did that. He turned over the boat, and their Senior Benjamin hands him a globe, and he said, "You got the whole world in your hands." And that was a nice little callback from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And then Bray's looking at it, and Brother Nero's next to him, and he said, "He's got the whole world in his hands," something like that.
Yeah.
And then he turned over, and then he was gone.
Yeah, and then Bray got thrown into the lake of reincarnation because guess what? Bray's getting repackaged. They're going to do something different with him for a bit.
Husky Harris.
Bring Husky Harris back.
Maybe
he'll be a minion of Hardy, because he was deleted. So, anyways, Raw kicked off yesterday with Angle coming out. He kind of starts talking about some shit that's going on, and Lesnar will be here, blah, blah, blah. Out of the crowd comes Roman. Roman's like, I'm not going any damn place. Somebody has to be here to represent the main event at WrestleMania. And Lesnar's not here. Lesnar's clearly not here. You keep saying he's here, but I don't see him, so he's not fucking here, essentially. And interesting to note here that they bring in the U.S. Marshals to arrest Roman. He just pushes them down, and they give up. And that's after he's been handcuffed. And then Lesnar just straight up came in and beat the ever-living fuck out of him. And then left the ring. And then came back and beat the fuck out of him some more and then left the ring. And then came back a third time and beat the fuck out of him again. And then by that point, you're like, oh shit, they've really drove it home that Roman is getting the shit kicked out of him by Lesnar now. This is personal. They put Roman on the stretcher. Fourth time, Lesnar's fucking music hits. Here he comes again to just beat the shit out of Roman Reigns. Hit him with several suplexes. I think he hit him with at least one F5 and some pretty heavy-handed blows. Hit him a lot with the chair. It was good. It was a good first segment on Raw. I'm trying to think of some other stuff that happened on Raw that was like kind of prominent. Oh, they furthered the Alexa Bliss Nia Jax story, which was really good. Nia finally confronting Alexa for the first time. Had to just knock my cat off the damn table. She's being obnoxious while we're trying to podcast.
Trying to talk about wrestling. Cats getting in our business.
Yeah, Ernest the Cat Miller, get out of here.
Somebody better call his mama.
Somebody better call his mama. It seems, though, that Jeff Hardy, going back to Ultimate Deletion real quick, Jeff Hardy is most likely returning. He was spotted at the Performance Center working out, getting his shit together. I'm sure he's ready to come back. They'll probably utilize him. They're going to want him for Mania. I don't know what you do here, though. You did Ultimate Deletion on a Raw before Mania. Now Bray and Matt don't have a match unless Bray doesn't actually go through the Lake of Reincarnation and survive somehow. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm not really sure there in that regard. I will say that there were some people that were stoked about Ultimate Deletion. Did you see any of these tweets?
No.
Mick Foley said, "I have no idea what the fuck I just saw, but I liked it." Hulk Hogan said, "I'm deleted, HH." Hurricane Helm said, "Outstanding, #Ultimate Deletion." I don't know. Carmine Sabia says, "Matt Hardy is insanely fucking talented. Greatest new character in the business in decades or more. Ultimate Deletion." Kenny McIntosh, "Matt Hardy just deleted Bray Wyatt in the most bonkers Raw main event of all time. The Ultimate Deletion lived up to all the hype and more. Fantastic. So proud and happy for Matt Hardy brand." So I think people are stoked.
It's awesome. I can't wait to actually see the whole freaking thing.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they might have some episodes on demand, on View. Sometimes they do, for that kind of stuff. So maybe I can check that out. But hopefully, I'll be able to see the full thing. But yeah, dude, the whole. I remember just a few years ago when you and me first started Journey to Wrestling. They were just starting this whole broken Matt Hardy thing, and we were stumped and we were confused. And then we saw. The final deletion, and we were like, this is something different. This is something completely new in this new era of wrestling that we've entered, that Matt Hardy's been able to reinvent himself so well. Because what I was going to say, Nate, earlier about the whole Jeff thing, you could easily pair him back up with Matt and have him go Brother Nero and be his dude. But Jeff is also such a big star that you could move him over to another show and have him be doing his own thing. He could be a big star, main event level star over on SmackDown, wrestling for the WWE title. And then you can have Matt doing his things completely separate, and then you can bring them together. It all depends on how much mileage they want to get out of the broken Matt or woken Matt, whatever they're going to call him. But maybe you just go ahead and put him in there right now. Maybe that's what. Ask Jeff what he would rather do, and see what he would want to do, and what they want to do, and maybe there's something more that they can grow with this, because they've been wanting to do this for over a year.
Yep. And this, with the TNA lawsuit and everything building up, blah blah, Anthem, the Owl, whatever you want to call it. Everything finally coming into play here. We saw Rebby Sky on WWE TV. She was a part of Ultimate Deletion. So, everything moving forward there for the Hardys. I will say, also on Raw, don't know if you saw this or not, John Cena still trying to call out The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
This time he was met with someone who's almost The Undertaker.
Kane.
Yes, Kane was very fucking angry and chokeslammed him. Is that a yes? Is that a no? Who knows? Next week on Raw, they're going to have a singles match for no fucking reason. I don't know why they're having the singles match, but hopefully it'll get some resolution. Maybe Taker will show up. There's been some conjecture and rumor that Taker could come back as American Badass Undertaker. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this?
I'm of both mindsets. I see both arguments about people saying, no, don't just come back as a dead man. Everybody loves a dead man. But it's also a bit risky to go back to that now. And you could consider him leaving the hat, the cloak, and the gloves in the ring last year was the death of the dead man character. And then even though, but see, that doesn't make sense because he just appeared on Raw 25 as the dead man.
Yep.
But what I was going to say is that with John keep calling him out, Undertaker doesn't answer it. Mark does.
Ooh. Maybe he calls Mark out.
And he's already kind of pseudo done that by talking shit about his wife's Instagram. So, and then here's the thing: is that they're inducting Kid Rock into the Hall of Fame. Yawn. However,
Borefest.
Yeah. Yes. I'm not a fan of that. especially when you have like people like Cyndi Lauper, who needs to go in. But induct Kid Rock, yeah, do a thing with him. He's doing the theme song this year for Mania, which is and in my opinion, and I don't like almost any modern day Kid Rock stuff. But the thing for me is, I would much rather hear whatever music he's doing right now that's trying to sound all Southern and like New Orleans, if you will. I would much rather hear that any day than the more modern pop bullshit that they've been playing for the last 5 years. Sorry, not my thing. I don't want to hear Flo Rida rapping on stage. If
I'm
I
ready
get
to go. It just never fucking ends. It's still in my head from like WrestleMania 29 or whenever the fuck they use that song.
Oh man, but the reason why it would be a win for me, if they do American Badass Taker, Kid Rock plays Taker to the ring with American Badass.
You mean with Sad But True?
Yeah, that thing.
Featuring lyrics by Kid Rock.
Yeah, sure. But, he used that when he first came back as the American Badass before he switched to Rollin'. And it would just, to me, that would be a, no pun intended, a badass moment to have Taker one last time on the fucking bike or roaring down, down the Superdome with the Kid Rock anthem, playing in the background. It's a moment, and it's something different compared to like the last 5 years that we've seen of Taker, especially if he's having more trouble moving and getting around the ring. You could, the American Badass Taker he didn't do most of he was more relaxed. He was more just brawling, and you can do that kind
with his fists.
And you can do a more of a like style like that with that style. He doesn't have to set up as much. He doesn't have to play the gimmick of the dead man as much. He can be the American Badass. I'm okay with it. I think it's cool if that's what they decide to do. I'm also okay if they decide to do the dead man again. The thing is that I just want some. I want some finality with this dude. When is he? I mean, he was contemplating retirement 17 years ago, Nate.
Damn.
And so he's still going. And, dude, I have nothing but respect for this dude. I have nothing but respect for him coming in and losing last year. Some people shed on it saying, he's ruining his legacy. Motherfuckers, I've said it here on the show. 2 losses at Mania does not ruin his legacy. He has such a spanning career. The WrestleMania streak was one of them. It is a disservice to The Undertaker to just say that the streak was all he had.
King of the Ring 98.
Dude, he was so much more than that.
Buried alive matches.
Exactly. Hell in a Cells, buried alive. Being one of the first people to pin pin Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
And he did it in his first year.
Yep.
He has such a long, measured history with the business that the streak ending or him losing at everybody's lost at WrestleMania. Nothing is meant to last in this business because you give it to somebody else, whether it's a dude to fire him with rockets for a couple years. You know what? That's whether or not I agree with it, you agree with it, it doesn't matter. That's what they decided to do, and it worked for business. The only thing is that the victory for Roman, they didn't do much with him after that. So I feel like it was a bit wasted, and in my personal, honest opinion, a great opportunity to turn him heel, to let him soak in that and let him be that arrogant, cocky bastard. Because the thing is, the fans want to boo him. Give them a reason, and they will boo the shit out of him and make him embrace that and feed off that heat. Because then, the hotter the heel, the hotter the babyface. So when the time comes for him to turn back, the fans will be all for it, and they'll forget about all that bullshit.
There's a couple of these guys that they keep thinking that they're protected from that thinking, though. And I get it. I get you've got your people that do Make-A-Wish, you've got your Cenas, and you do have your Roman Reigns and stuff. But I agree with you, Brando. They have fumbled Roman so many times, countless opportunities to set things right for him and get him in trend with the crowd. Could have had him win the Rumble the year everybody was hot as fuck for him to win the Rumble. They fucked it up. And maybe he wasn't ready, so be it. Then the next year, the next year he did win the Rumble?
Yes, and that was the year that they all wanted Bryan, and
they booed the fuck out of him, and it was a terrible moment. And The Rock came out and tried to solidify it, and it was fucking dumb. Nobody liked it. Go home, quit. It's bad. Poor television.
And then they had the moment after TLC when he beat the shit out of Triple H and Vince, and he got a belt, and everyone was all for him. And then in a few weeks they fumbled it, and then he's just back to being, suffering succotash.
Suffering succotash, man. That's the poorest thing to put in a promo.
And that's a Vinceism right there. The thing is also with Roman, they have fumbled him, but it's no fault of his own. I think, and honestly think, he is a damn good worker. Works his ass off, in that ring. Makes he is pretty selfless in there too. When it's his turn to sell, he makes people look good.
Oh, absolutely.
And when it's time for him to get his comeback, he gets that. Roman can fucking work. And I don't care what anybody says. He is, don't mar him with that same bullshit that you did with John for over 10 years, 5 Moves of Doom. Because John is so much more than that as well. It's just, when you're playing that role of ultimate babyface, your job is to sell and then come back and then win. Look at anybody, and they have 5 Moves of Doom when they're in that situation, whether it's Bryan, whether it's AJ, whether it's The Rock. Austin was all fists, boots, and stunners, and that's all
that Thez press. As soon as that Lou Thez press hit, it was fucking on to the break of dawn.
Absolutely. Now, I really feel bad for Roman because I feel like he could be, and he has the look. He could be in that top spot, but I just feel like he needs to play that other role before he can be that top baby face, because the fans aren't accepting of him. And when you put him on last at the end of every WrestleMania, did you notice he's main evented WrestleMania 31, 32, 33, and now he's online to main event 4. So 4 in a row. Cena did 22, 23. He didn't main event 24.
Nope.
He didn't main event 25.
Nope.
He didn't main event 26.
Nope. Or 27.
Yeah,
he did, because it was him and Miz, right?
27, 28, and 29, 3 in a row. We're seeing it. So, I mean,
I will say, this is one thing I will say about Roman, and this comes from this most recent Raw. He's actually doing a great job of being the sole voice of this feud. It's
tough to do, especially when you have a guy like Brock that doesn't come around a whole lot, and they're using that too. I don't know if you noticed that they're trying to use that to try and get people to cheer for Roman by saying that Brock is too good. He gets special treatment, and they don't like that. They want them to boo Brock for being the anointed one, just the same reason why they're booing Roman for being the anointed one and getting special treatment.
Well, Lesnar definitely got heavy heel heat leaving Raw after the amount of times he beat the shit out of Roman on Raw and all the things he did with. I mean, consider every time he was beating the fuck out of Roman was handcuffed the whole time. So it was a very not fair thing, and it looked very heel. It looked very villain. So, when initially the crowd was blowing up every time he was coming back to beat the shit out of Roman some more, by the end of it there were clearly loud boos happening. So, and again, I think maybe this is Paul Heyman's construct that he's putting together, in his master plan or whatever, but I feel like even Heyman was like, it's smarter if I don't talk during this feud. The quieter I am as Paul Heyman, the less appearances we do, the more we play this off, the more there are quote-unquote scheduled and then canceled appearances, which were never actually scheduled appearances to begin with. Then it makes the fans have anger towards a guy who is leaving, and it's setting everything up how it should be. It's kind of old school wrestling coming back. So I'm actually really... I'm not saying I'm excited that he's going to main event another WrestleMania, but I am proud that Roman is finally really genuinely stepping his game up and having to be a top star, because he is carrying the main event right now with very little help from Lesnar himself. Another thing to mention, Brando, I don't know if you saw this, another Hall of Famer got announced.
We're getting a new addition to the Hall of Pain.
Oh, yeah, the Hall of Pain. Because, He is the father of a hand.
That's got to come up in his whole induction thing, man.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
He did sleep with Mae Young. Mm-hmm. He was in the Nation of Domination, and he has been around forever, and the World's Strongest Man, and Mark Henry is journeyman, world champ for a while there, carried the company in some dark days over there on SmackDown. Nothing but great things to be said about Mark Henry, and he's such a caring, generous soul. He's fun and friendly, and he just seems like the guy he portrays when he's not that character, if that makes any sense.
Right.
So,
no, Mark's a sweetheart, man. He plays he played such a good big bastard heel, but no, Mark is a big softie. He's a big teddy bear.
Well, and he's a big teddy bear because he knows how strong he can fucking be, and he's like, I don't need to. Why would I be angry all the time? I just hurt people. Anger plus power is pain, for real, So,
yeah.
I think about Mark Henry's fake retirement. Do you remember that with Cena?
Yes.
He fucked Cena up. That was amazing,
dude. I saw something. Where somebody said Hall of Fame announced, thank you, Mark. And somebody posted on one of the memes pages for wrestling and said, not buying it, Mark. Not buying it this time. It's like they're going to have Cena come out.
The shit out of Cena.
Yeah, like here's Cena's real match. They're going to play up the Undertaker thing, and Undertaker's not going to answer him. Even going into Mania, we don't know if that match is happening. And then at the Hall of Fame, they're going to have Cena induct Mark, and Mark's going to turn on him during the ceremony and give him the slam on the stage, and he's really not getting inducted.
He's not inducted at all.
No.
Keep your damn ring. And then, the next night on Mania will be amazing. I'm happy that this is a thing that's happened, Brando. There's nothing.
Absolutely, me
wrong
too.
with it.
I got some weird news that I just read.
Bring it.
Of course, we covered Vince launching the new XFL.
Yeah.
Going to be launching in like 2 years. And this news is Charlie Ebersol, son of the television executive Dick Ebersol, formerly of I don't know if he's still with NBC or longtime partner of Vince McMahon and NBC Universal, was a big proponent behind the old Saturday Night's Main Events and also a partner in the original XFL. Charlie Ebersol is involved in the launch of a new American football league called the Alliance of American Football. Charlie Ebersol recently directed the ESPN documentary entitled "This Was the XFL," which explored the business relationship between his father and Vince McMahon. The launch of the AAF is currently scheduled for February of next year, which is a full year ahead of the XFL's launch. And it's interesting to note that the official XFL Twitter account has not tweeted since the Super Bowl.
Interesting. Is that not happening now?
I don't know. Here's a statement from AAF.com. Led by some of the most respected football minds in the game, the Alliance of American Football is an 8-team single-entity structured league driven by high-quality professional football and fueled by a dynamic alliance between players, fans, and the game. The fans will be able to stream Alliance matchups via the free Alliance app while accessing integrated fantasy options with real rewards for themselves and the players that they're cheering on. Players will have state-of-the-art protection on the field and ample opportunities off of it. The Alliance will provide players with a comprehensive bonus system, post-football career planning, as well as counseling and scholarship support for post-secondary education. Funded by TV and film producer Charlie Ebersol and Hall of Famer Bill Polian, the Alliance will begin a 12-week season kickoff February 9th, 2019 on CBS and culminating in the championship game weekend of April 26th to 28th in 2019.
Interesting. That seems to maybe be changing everything. And, it says state-of-the-art protection. All I can think of is they're going to be in those giant fucking bouncy balls.
Hell yeah. That'd be. I would watch just for that, to see him bouncing all around.
Me too. Envision if the bouncy ball was also Velcro and the football was also Velcro, and you just had a guy who threw the football. He was never in danger to get sacked. He just had to try to land it on the ball, and your guy's running with it.
Oh, man.
That would be hilarious. I don't think that's going to happen. Did you hear about this crazy video, by the way? Do you know about this?
Crazy video?
Yeah, the steroid video. Do you know about this?
Yeah.
There's a guy, John Bravo, claims that he can implicate...
Johnny Bravo.
Well, John Bravo.
Hey, pretty mama.
Hey, pretty mama.
Man, I'm pretty.
He claims that he's got proof that he can implicate several professional wrestlers in a steroid ring, Roman Reigns being one of them. The finished documentary doesn't even give a single shed of evidence. They just keep claiming that all the evidence is currently in the DEA's hands, and they have, they can only essentially just tell you what they have proof of, but nothing exists. There's no proof. Nothing has been confirmed. It also speculates Sheamus, Jinder Mahal, The Rock, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and John Cena also possibly be involved, as well as Ultimate Warrior, Sting, and Chris Masters. But again, no proof in the pudding here. It's just complete bullshit. This guy's full of bullshit. I think he's just trying to get ratings and get shit, and he mistaked Roman Reigns for Luther Reigns, and they're not even the same fucking person. It's like, how can you... That doesn't even make sense. Like, they don't even have the same hairstyle. What are you doing?
Horseshoe.
You dumb shit. Horseshoe, yes. Yes.
Did that episode ever make air?
That was the part of the episode that made air. That was so loopy that at the end of the episode, after we had just talked about those things, we actually claimed that we hadn't been able to talk about those things because it was on the broken episode that never made air.
I haven't gone back to listen to that.
So people were probably like, what the fuck are these guys on? They just talked about these fucking B-rate WCW jobbers, and now they're saying that they lost that footage. What the fuck? What paradox am I in?
Dude, we were so fucking tired that, like, it is no surprise that we forgot what we talked about 5 minutes prior.
Yeah, there's no surprise to that whatsoever. Did you know that The Rock picked a possible opponent for Rusev at WrestleMania 34?
Did he really?
Yeah, Kevin Hart. He said, Kevin Hart, he'll put you over, but you got to kayfabe his STD. Of course, and then a lot of people are saying, oh my God, who would be amazing for Rusev to face would be Stephen Amell. And of course Stephen Amell's more loyal to Cody than he was most likely to WWE. And that's something that needs to be noted. However, he tweeted, please stop suggesting me. I am terrified of this person. Like, don't bring me into this.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. So we'll see what happens there, Brando. But as far as that news is concerned, I don't really have a whole lot. We're on the fast track to Mania here. We've got, Charlotte Asuka's official, Alexa Nia's official. Interesting because you could see titles. It's weird because the way they're setting everything up, you could almost say every title could change hands at Mania. IC title is triple threat that could change hands easily. Universal change hands. WWE change hands. US title, if it ends up getting defended, will most likely change hands. It's a lot, bro. Tag titles are probably going to change hands. Did you hear about that? Sheamus might be done.
What?
Yeah, Sheamus is looking to be done with wrestling in the next 6 months to a year, possibly.
No kidding.
And that's a lot of the reason that it's a lot of the reason that on Raw they had Braun win the tag title thing, because now Braun can go in, hold the titles for a bit, and then get bored with the titles and do something else with them, and it'll be super interesting.
Okay, so I remember hearing about not long ago that Sheamus has a similar neck problem to Edge, and
yeah, he has spinal stenosis.
So yeah, I heard that a while back. So maybe he's thinking, man, you know what? I need to come in here, make some more money, save up some more money, and then get out of Dodge, man. Maybe he can. Whether or not he needs to have a surgery, and maybe he can come back on a limited basis.
Well, we all know his stardom in Hollywood is rock steady, is not taking him very far. So
no, but he is a big dude, and he does have a lot of character and a lot of charm. So if he actually focuses out there and starts from the ground level, there's a chance he could get some parts. Just look at Batista. Batista is, he stumbled into Drax. No offense to Batista. he got the Drax role, and now he's a bigger Hollywood player. Before that, what did you see him in?
He was in like some sort of Golden Dragon movie with arms. Like he had crazy fists of rage or some shit. What was that movie?
I don't know, but I remember one movie he was in with Rob Van Dam called Wrong Side of Town.
Him and Rob Van Dam starting a movie together? That's amazing.
Dude, it's awful. It is so freaking awful. And, like, I remember, like, me and Rob watched that on the old streaming Netflix back when you can only stream it on the computer.
Oh, shit.
And we were actually thinking of doing, like, a YouTube or a podcast or whatever it was at the time, where it was almost like a modern-day Mystery Science Theater or Science Mystery Theater, whichever way you say it. Mystery
Science Theater 3000.
Yes. A modern day version of that, but we just like intentionally go out and just find the worst movies. The series was going to be called Direct to DVD, and we were going to be trying to find the best movies that we could find. And unfortunately, Rob's a little camera shy and didn't want to really do that. He wanted to watch him, but he didn't really want to do a show on him. And we watched Wrong Side of Town, and I remember like we watched a movie, we're like, wow, this is pretty bad. And then the end credit scenes was Ja Rule. Remember him?
Fuck yeah, I remember Ja Rule.
He's like, wrong side of town, wrong side of town. It's like, dude, we fucking lost it. We weren't even high, we weren't drunk, dude. But just the sheer like kookiness of the whole thing. But Sheamus could have a possible career in Hollywood if he gets out there. Focus it on it 100%, not try to be a wrestler in that, separate himself from the wrestling thing. He's got a good look about him. Him being so pale gives him a unique feel about him. He
could star as, Wesley Willis in Braveheart? Wesley Wallace?
William Wallace.
William Wallace. I don't fucking remember.
Wesley Willis.
I don't know, dude.
This week on WCW Main Event, Wesley Willis versus The Dandy.
The Dandy making his grand return to the show yet again, another week here. I don't know, man.
I did say, Nate, that I was talking to our one and only Dr. Dongo and our good friend Tyler, and I'm saying, I know you guys don't listen to JIW, but if we did, like, if every show had shirts available right now, what like JIW shirt would be like the Dandy, like that would be our shirt right now.
Mm-hmm. It would absolutely be the shirt. I already have the design in my head.
You don't mess with the Dandy,
Dandy 316, like
Dandy Day.
Dandy Day, yes, absolutely. You can't dandy me.
Oh, that sounds a little dirty.
Yeah, it's meant to.
Dandy City.
Also, don't ask for the dandy in Mexican wrestling. You will get something totally different. Oh, shit. Oh, Brando, we have an interesting random highlight we have planned for today.
Yes, sir. Now, usually every week we have this thing called the random highlight where we insert 10 random wrestlers throughout the generations into a random name picker, and it selects a name for us, and we kind of talk about their career, and we gush about memories and some of our favorite matches. But this time, we're gearing up for Mania. I think we got one more show between now and Mania.
Yeah, it'll be our Go Home Mania show that will be happening during a very special week here in Journey into Comics, where you will get the Go Home episode before WrestleMania the night before. So the same night, a Saturday night. It's going to be Saturday night main event for JIW.
Oh, perfect name. Perfect name for the episode. We've already named the episode.
Yeah, you guys are already in the future. We haven't even recorded that shit yet, and we already know what it's going to be called.
So what we decided to do was throw in like some of our favorite WrestleManias, and it's going to randomly pick a WrestleMania, and we're going to talk about the card. So we got to pick it, and then we got to go find the card. So you're going to get like a little bit of a thing. So Nate, are you ready? Here are the names. Here are the WrestleManias that we're going to be talked about. Me and Nate did a pick 10. I picked 10. He picked 10. Some of them were the same. Some of them weren't. I picked the ones that were the same, and then from there went through both of our lists and tried to find some of the more interesting ones that I thought were great to talk about. Tried to find ones that weren't so close together. A couple of them are. Like, I think two of them are like very close together. Yeah, 2 of them are like 1 apart. So, and ironically, there is like 2 of them apart, and then 10 years later, 2 of them apart.
Exactly. So, that's awesome.
All right, so that is WrestleMania 3, WrestleMania 5, WrestleMania 8, WrestleMania 12, WrestleMania 17, WrestleMania 20, WrestleMania 21, WrestleMania 24, WrestleMania 30, and WrestleMania 31. Are you ready, Nate?
You said what was after 17?
I'll go again.
Sure. Sorry, just I'm actually pulling up all the cards just to be fully ready. So
okay, so I said WrestleMania 3, 5, 8, 12, 17, 20, 21, 24, 30, and 31. Are you ready for this random highlight?
Yeah.
WrestleMania 5.
Oh, interesting. WrestleMania 5.
29 years ago, WrestleMania 5, the Mega Powers collide. And one of the biggest, longest storylines that they had at the time. I mean, this is back in a time where you could do a storyline and plant seeds. That's what this WrestleMania did. They planted the seeds of Hogan and Savage. And those were first planted all the way at SummerSlam when the Mega Powers collided and faced the Mega Bucks. And, of course, that was Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth versus Ted DiBiase and Andre the Giant, right?
Yeah.
And Elizabeth tore off her skirt and had like a little mini skirt. And you saw some of her red underwear. And then DiBiase and Andre were like, oh my God, oh my God. And then they got beat. And
then they got beat.
So what you had then is that night, Savage hoisted up Liz on his shoulder, and Hogan looked like he was trying to help balance her and had just the lightest little touch of her tush.
Oh yeah. Uh-oh.
Ever so slightly.
Dun dun dun.
And then Survivor Series happened. And Savage gets eliminated and Hogan wins the match. Savage is the WWF champion. And things almost kind of come unglued a little bit, and then they kind of come back together. Okay, we're cool. We're cool. We're cool. And then the Royal Rumble happens. And if I can't remember if Hogan eliminates Savage along with somebody else, like on accident, or together. And then let me see here. Trying to see if that's the spot. I want to say that he was, because then there was almost another heated moment, and then I got pulled back out. But then there was a Saturday Night's Main Event where it was a tag match. And then I want to say it was versus the Twin Towers, which was the Big Boss Man and Akeem. And Savage was thrown out of the ring and onto Elizabeth, knocking her unconscious. Hogan, tending to her while Savage was back in the ring, ended up carrying her all the way to the back to get her medical attention, leaving Savage to fend for himself in the ring against a much larger Akeem and Big Boss Man. Hogan eventually went back out, but Savage slapped him in the face when he went to tag him and left Hogan out there alone. Hogan managed to pick up the win. And afterwards, Hogan goes back to the medical area where Liz is awake now. They had like this thing where Savage confronted him. He's like, what are you doing? And like, I seen you. You've been having eyes on her the whole time. And Hogan's like, what's going on here, man? No. Because Liz had started to manage Hogan too. Like alongside their tag team. And then Savage turned heel and attacked Hogan with the belt, setting up Hogan versus Savage for the WWF title with Liz in neither man's corner. She was in the middle. She was in a neutral corner. The event, WrestleMania 5, was returned. It was the first ever back-to-back venue for WrestleMania. And it was in Trump Plaza in Atlantic City.
Plaza, yep.
Yep, there you go. It was at the venue is called the Atlantic City Convention Hall, but it was associated with Trump Plaza. Trump was ringside, I'm pretty sure, for both 4 and 5.
Yeah.
You could see him sitting there. But let's look at the card. Besides the awesome big main event, I actually watched this just last year. The whole event. Of course, there are 14 matches, Nate.
Oh, yes.
Hercules defeated King Haku, which is crazy, considering that Haku is like one of the most strongest, craziest dude in the business. The Twin Towers, Akeem and Big Boss Man, with Slick, the Doctor style, defeated the Rockers, which is Michaels and Jannetty. Brutus the Barber Beefcake ended in a double countout with Ted DiBiase. The Bushwhackers defeated the Fabulous Rougeaus. Mr. Perfect defeated the Blue Blazer, a.k.a. Owen Hart. Demolition defeated the Powers of Pain and the Powers of Pain and Mr. Fuji to defend their tag titles. Dino Bravo with Frenchie Martin defeated Ronnie Garvin. The Brainbusters, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard with Bobby Heenan defeated Strike Force, Rick Martel and Tito Santana. Jake the Snake Roberts defeated Andre the Giant via disqualification. That featured Big John Studd as a special guest referee. The Hart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart defeated Greg Valentine and the Honky Tonk Man, a.k.a. Rhythm and Blues, with Jimmy Hart. Ravishing Rick Rude defeated the Ultimate Warrior to win the Intercontinental Championship. Bad News Brown versus Jim Duggan ended in double disqualification. The Red Rooster defeated Bobby Heenan with the Brooklyn Brawler in 31 seconds.
It's a weird-ass match to have right before the main event.
I know. And then finally, Hulk Hogan defeated Randy Savage to gain his, I believe this was his second WWF, title. Those jelly beans are coming back to hit me like right in the burps.
Hit you with the Stone Cold Stunner from the jelly beans.
Now, there's a lot of matches on here that are really short. Make you wonder why they're even on here to begin with. Like, maybe I don't like the whole Bad News and Jim Duggan for almost 4 minutes. Then you have like, where's the other short one I saw? Dino Bravo and Ronnie Garvin. I mean, what?
Yeah, it's very bizarre. This card is kind of just like thrown at the wall with randomness. I will say
you had a couple of storylines. The whole Rick Rude. You had Jake the Snake and Andre. Kind of going in there. That was a kind of a a storyline. So it's like, there is some storylines here. And then of course the storyline with Demolition, the Powers of Pain with Mr. Fuji. There's a whole Fuji thing. So that gets touched on. But like. So basically, okay, so you have Hogan, Savage, Rude, Warrior, tag team title match, and then Jake and Andre. And it's like, it kind of seems like everything else. There's like smaller storylines here, but it also kind of seems like that they could have done something more with some of these guys and given like, okay, so like I understand the whole the Hart Foundation and Rhythm and Blues with Jimmy Hart because. Jimmy Hart was with the Hart Foundation, and now he's with Rhythm and Blues. But that almost kind of is the same thing as Fuji and Demolition and Powers of Pain. It's like
they had too many people, and I mean, there's a lot of tag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tag matches on one card.
Think about that. That's back when you had a very healthy tag team system in the in the company, and Vince isn't big on tag teams. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot here. I mean, you have Brainbusters and Strike Force. You have 4 dudes in there: Arn, Tully, Martel, and Santana. There's no way that's a bad match.
No, not at all. Especially given 10 minutes.
Still, and you could take these same 4 workers, give them a half hour, and it would be a barn burner. You know?
Oh, I know, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like, you're not having a bad match there. The Rougeaus can go. The Bushwhackers are, they're pretty solid, but they're more of a comedy gimmick. The Rockers are in here. This is their first match with the Rockers. This is Shawn Michaels' first WrestleMania in a losing effort. I don't understand why you feature Bad News Brown and Doug in a double disqualification in under 4 minutes. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Especially towards the end of the card.
Right. Well, also, okay, so I remember, do you remember the Hulk Hogan match collection or something like that they put out on DVD like back in the mid-2000s?
Yeah. Hulkamania 3-disc set.
It was something like that, and then if you got it from Walmart or something, you got a bonus 4th disc. Or you got it from somewhere and it's a bonus 4th disc. Well, the WrestleMania 5 match, they actually had the Hulk Hogan promo before WrestleMania 5. And they overdubbed WWF.
Really?
You remember back then they couldn't say WWF. They had this like, man, here in the WWF. He's the WW champion. That they would always edited that out. Well, I remember like chilling out, watching this Hulk Hogan DVD, blah 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 blah, and here's a Hulk Hogan promo, and he says WWE, and my ears perked up and went, huh? Rewind. Yeah, Hulk went back and overdubbed that part.
Really?
It's ever so slight. You could tell the tone change, but he was really trying to emulate that promo. And it's like weird. It is so weird.
That is weird.
And of course you got like other like Mr. Perfect versus Blue Blazer. That's a 6-minute thing, but I mean, those two guys are some of the best wrestlers in the world. Hogan and Savage is a barn burner of a match. I honestly thought it was a lot longer than 1752 or 54. I really thought it was a lot longer than that because it kind of feels longer, but they tell an awesome, slow story. Hogan gets some juice and picks up the win against Savage here, setting up going into the summer, feuding with Randy Savage, and they bring in Zeus.
Yeah, Zeus. He was featured in Lil Nicky.
My brother Adrian hit me in the face with a shovel.
Actually, I think he was Cassius. He was Cassius.
My brother Cassius, get in the flask. It's a super devil juice Dad gave me.
Uh-oh. You
What's
got
up?
some? I just lost you.
Sorry, like an old friend sent me this like random question. I thought like it might have been the wife, maybe needing help with the kid, and I'm like,
you got Stone Cold Stunnered in the middle of the goddamn podcast.
Right about, man, right about. I mean, I really didn't have much else to add to WrestleMania 5. I think it's an all right card with a couple of yes, go kind of see this matches, like especially the Rude and Warrior. And especially the Hogan and Savage, that is top notch. It's Savage. I want to say Savage got a was it a staph infection right before this?
Oh damn, he wrestled out with a staph infection, huh?
I want to say it was this one. It was either this one or the 4, but I want to say it was this one because he was running the fever like the whole time, and went out there and had that great of a match. And of course, I mean, this set Hogan up for a second run and. That went on, and of course, 1 year after this was the Ultimate Challenge.
Yeah, the Ultimate Challenge. From the Ultimate Warrior, assume the controls, Hulk Hogan.
Also, I want you to know that WrestleMania 5 was declared the worst major wrestling show of 1989 by the Wrestling Observer newsletter. What a bizarre-ass stat.
Well, I mean... Yeah, okay, so you think about it. That was in 89. And you also had 3 Steamboat Flair matches in 89. You had Flair versus Funk in 89. I Quit. So you had some really good competition from, the NWA at the time.
Totally. So this was just I don't know. I like all WrestleManias. I don't really have too much beef because they're all spectacles no matter how you look at it. They make wrestling fans, love their product no matter what, and it's always something memorable. And, when I think WrestleMania 4 or 5, my first thought is Trump Tower or Trump Plaza or whatever. And, obviously with 5, I think of Hogan and Randy going toe-to-toe. And this sets in motion a lot because didn't Randy after this go on for some IC stuff for a bit? Does he kind of go undercard?
No, he went to give him something to do because he broke off with Liz and went with Sherry, and he became the Macho King.
That's right.
He got his own title there for a while. And he was Macho King until 7 when he lost the retirement match with Warrior. And then he left the ring for a while and became the Macho Man again, married Liz, and then they brought him back with a comeback thing with Jake. But they set him off, and instead of bringing him back to the IC and considering it a step down, they gave him his own little title to go after.
Also to note on the original poster for WrestleMania 5, available only on giant screen, so closed circuit or pay-per-view. And it started at 3 p.m. Central Time, Sunday, April 2nd.
Dang, so like Eastern Time, because they were in Jersey.
It's 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Man, that is so early.
Super early. Speaking of New Jersey, that was a great unintentional segue that we can close the episode with because we now know officially WrestleMania 35 happening at MetLife yet again.
Yep, it's returning to the New York, New Jersey area, which is what they're going to brand it as. The new logo looks pretty meh.
Yeah. Bring the numbers back. I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah, I'm missing the numbers. They still call them by the numbers when they talk about them retrospectively. So just use the damn numbers in the logo. Let's cut the crap.
No more WrestleMania Sunshine.
No more WrestleMania Dallas Cowboy Star logo.
Play logo.
Yeah, no more play. And then this year it's the
Fleur de Lis.
Yes, thank you. I can remember the name of it, and I don't even know what this one is.
It's just a sun.
Is it another sun?
Yeah, it's just a sun.
What? Well, I mean, it doesn't make sense because
there should have been a trash pile. It's Jersey. Sorry to our New Jersey listeners. I love you guys. I'm just being sarcastic asshole because that's how it is here.
Oh man, I'm more than cool with him going back, especially since we just touched upon them showcasing how they heated the ring for that match or for that night.
Yeah, using those heaters built into the poles.
Yeah, and it's that's pretty cool. I'm excited for them to go back. They need to go back to that area at least once every 10 years. Of course, it wasn't 30 like it should have been because of the whole Madison Square Garden. I still think they need to. They don't do any TV from Madison Square Garden anymore. They just do live events, and I'm a sad panda.
I think it's because their current HD rig stuff is just too big to get everything in there how they need it to be. Based on that building, it's too old to run it how their current product runs.
They built the more current Square Garden is not the older one they used to run. They built a newer one not that long ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But like, I think it's the rent of the building, and then maybe what you're right is that the stuff that they want for the big sets does take up too much real estate and then tickets. Because I know that since 23, Vince declared he does not want to have Mania in anything less than a stadium. From now on, and that's been the case ever since.
Will we get an overseas one, by the way?
No, we never got our overseas Mania. The only major overseas pay-per-view we got was '92 SummerSlam in Wembley. I would love to see a Wembley WrestleMania.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That crowd would be off the chain, man.
Australia would be another great place to host a WrestleMania.
Agreed. The only issue is the timing and the time frame, and we got to figure out when it's going to air, where you're going to have it, because obviously you're worried about spoilers. But I think even if you did it over in England and tried to push it towards like the later part of the day over there, people would still watch the shit out of that over here in the afternoon. You know,
absolutely, all about that, Brando. Well, I don't think I have much else to say, my friend.
Same here. I'm excited to go out and watch SmackDown tonight to see what's going to happen. I can't wait to hear that crowd and be a part of history as Daniel Bryan makes his soon to be comeback.
WrestleMania 2.
Yes, I'm hoping. Like hell, like I said, I'm hoping like hell that AJ can stay healthy. We can get that match, and we don't need to put Bryan right in that big spot right away, because it makes so much sense to have him go out there tonight and be like, I'm coming back. And then here comes, Yepplemania. And then they come out and they just like get right in his face. And, then they give him the first thing they do is give him a beat down.
Yeah, and kick the shit out of him, make him feel bad, and then make him cry, call him names.
And then what you could do, play the fans. Just
how
like
so?
They hurt. Like say how much they hurt Shane. Make this announcement: Bryan's coming back. Boom. Bryan out with a concussion.
Ooh. And make people think that, damn it, he didn't even get his chance.
Because of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And there's your setup for the tag match.
I love it. Of course, it's weird because they played off that maybe, DB was on their side earlier this year and some different storyline stuff and whatnot. So I don't know how they play that either.
Well, they could have Bryan sort of come to the defense of Shane by him saying, "Dude, what you guys did was not cool."
Yeah.
And they're like, "So you're cleared to go, huh? So why don't we go right now and get in his face?" And he's like, "Look, man, I don't even have my gear." And they jump his ass.
He's like, "I don't even travel with my gear. I haven't wrestled in so long."
You're right, yeah.
Just kick the fuck out of him. I'd be super into it.
Because you could have them jump him, and you could have him like kind of beat him up a little bit, and have Bryan sort of like have like a little comeback thing where like people start going, "Yeah, he's back, he's back, he's back." He gets shut down.
And again. Shit. Well, Brando, I think we're ready to get out of here, my bro.
I think so too, man.
All right, dog. Well, this has been episode 14 of season 2 of Journey into Wrestling. As always, folks, check us out at journeyintocomics.com and on all the different podcasting apps, whether it's iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music. We are now on Spotify. Also, get us on the social medias at Facebook. We are Journey into Wrestling. On Twitter, we are JIW on JIC. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes, and also go to our patreon.com/journeyintocomics. Give us $1 for early access, $3 for early access and exclusive content, or more if you want to just pledge more and you're an awesome listener like some of our awesome listeners out there. We thank you guys so much, and thank you guys so much for checking out this episode of Journey into Wrestling. This has been Journey into Wrestling, Season 2, Episode 14. What is this paradox? I've been Nate.
I've been Brando.
And we'll see you guys later.